नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हाँ? ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा। We continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto First, Chapter 14, Shloka number 32, 33. प्रद्युम्नः सर्ववृष्णीनां
प्रद्युम्नः सर्ववृष्णीनां
सुखम् आस्ते महारथः।
सुखम् आस्ते महारथः।
गम्भीररय अनिरुद्धः
गम्भीररयः अनिरुद्धः
वर्धते भगवान् उत।
वर्धते भगवानौत।
सुषेणः चारुदेष्णः च
सुषेणः चारुदेष्णः च
साम्बः जाम्बवती सुतः।
साम्बः जाम्बवती सुतः।
अन्ये च कार्ष्णी प्रवराः
अन्ये च कार्ष्णी प्रौराः
सपुत्रः ऋषभ आदयः।
सपुत्राः ऋषभादयः।
तथा एव अनुचराः शौरेः
तथा एव अनुचरः शौरेः
श्रुतदेव उद्धव आदयः।
श्रुतदेव उद्धव आदयः।
सुनन्दनन्द शीर्ष्ण्याः
सुनन्दनन्द शीर्ष्ण्याय
ये च अन्ये सात्वत ऋषभाः
ये च अन्ये सात्वत ऋषभाः
अपि स्वस्ति आसते सर्वे
अपि स्वस्ति आसते सर्वे
रामकृष्ण भुज आश्रयाः।
रामकृष्ण भुजाश्रयाः।
अपि स्मरन्ति कुशलम् अस्माकं बद्ध सौहृदा।
अपि स्मरन्ति कुशलम् अस्माकं बद्धसौहार्दाः।
प्रद्युम्नः सर्ववृष्णीनां
प्रद्युम्नः सर्ववृष्णीनां
सुखम् आस्ते महारथः।
सुखम् आस्ते महारथः।
गम्भीररयः अनिरुद्धः
गम्भीररयः अनिरुद्धः
वर्धते भगवान् उत।
वर्धते भगवानौत।
सुषेणः चारुदेष्णः च
सुषेण चारुदेष्णः च
साम्बः जाम्बवती सुतः।
साम्बः जाम्बवती सुतः।
अन्ये च कार्ष्णी प्रवराः
अन्ये च कार्ष्णिप्रौराः
सपुत्रा ऋषभ आदयः।
सपुत्रा ऋषभादयः।
तथा एव अनुचराः
तथा
शौरेः
तथा एव अनुचरः शौरेः
श्रुतदेव उद्धव आदयः।
श्रुतदेव उद्धव आदयः।
सुनन्दनन्द शीर्ष्ण्याये
सुनन्दनन्द शीर्ष्ण्याये
च अन्ये सात्वत ऋषभाः
च अन्ये सात्वत ऋषभाः
अपि स्वस्ति आसते सर्वे
अपि स्वस्ति आसते सर्वे
रामकृष्ण भुजा आश्रयः।
रामकृष्ण भुजाश्रयाः।
अपि स्मरन्ति कुशलम्
अपि स्मरन्ति कुशलम्
अस्माकं बद्ध सौहृदाः।
अस्माकं बद्धसौहृदाः।
प्रद्युम्न सर्ववृष्णीनां सुखम् आस्ते महारथः। गम्भीररयनिरुद्धः वर्धते भगवान् उत। सुषेण चारुदेष्ण च साम्ब जाम्बवती सुत। अन्ये च कार्ष्णी प्रवराः सपुत्रा वृषभादयः। तथा एव अनुचराः शौरे श्रुतदेव उद्धव आदयः। सुनन्दनन्द शीर्ष्ण्याः ये च अन्ये सात्वत ऋषभाः अपि स्वस्ति आसते सर्वे रामकृष्ण भुजा आश्रयाः। अपि स्मरन्ति कुशलम् अस्माकं बद्धसौहृदाः.
प्रद्युम्न
हरे कृष्ण.
सर्ववृष्णीनां सुखम् आसते महारथ गम्भीरया निरुद्धः वर्धते भगवान् ऊतः सुषेण चारुदेष्णः च साम्बः जाम्बवती सुतः अन्ये च कार्ष्णिप्रौराः सुपुत्रा ऋषभादयः तथा एव अनुचराः शौरे श्रुतदेवोद्धवादयः सुनन्दनन्दशीर्ष्ण्याये च अन्ये सात्वतऋषभाः अपि स्वस्ति आसते सर्वे रामकृष्णभुजाश्रयाः अपि स्मरन्ति कुशलम् अस्माकं बद्धसौहृदाः
Hare Krishna. Karpagole Mataji, please read.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pradyumnah sarva vishninam sukam aste Mahāratah Kambira nirvruddho vardate bhagavan yuta susenas charudista sambojambavati sutaha अन्ये च कर्णे पर्वः सपुत्र सपुत्र ऋषभ आदय तथैवानुचर सौरे श्रुतदेवो उद्धवतः सुनन्दनन्द शेषनया ये चन्यि सत्त्वे अपि स्वस्ति अस्ते सर्वे रामकृष्णभुजो श्रेयः अपि स्मरन्ति कुशलाम् अस्माकं वद सौहृदा. Thank you, Mataji. Dandatna.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. How is Pradyumna, the great general of the Vrishni family, is he happy, and is Aniruddha, the plenary expansion of the personality of Godhead, faring well? Are all the chieftain sons of the Lord Krishna, such as Sushen, Charudeshna, Samba, the son of the Jamvati, and Rushabha, along with their sons, all doing well? Also, Shrutadev, Uddhav, and others, Nanda, Sunanda, and others, leaders of liberated souls who are constant companions of the Lord, are protected by Lord Balrama and Krishna. Are they all doing well in their respective function? Do they, who are all eternally bound in friendship with us, remember our welfare? Translation, purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Pradyumna, and Aniruddha are also expansions of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are also viṣṇu-tattva. At Dvārakā, Lord Vāsudeva is engaged in his transcendental pastime along with his plenary expansions, namely Saṅkarṣaṇa, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, and therefore each and every one of them can be addressed as the personality of Godhead, as it is mentioned in the connection with the name of Aniruddha. As already mentioned, Lord Krishna married 16,100 wives, and each of them had 10 sons. Therefore, 16,108 into 10 is equal to 1,61,080 sons. They all grew up, and each of them had as many as their father. And the whole aggregate was something near 16 lakh 10,800 family members of the Lord. The Lord is the Father of all living beings who are countless in number. Therefore, only a few of them are called the associate with the Lord's in his transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dvārakā on this earth. It is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. It is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours, and it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. King Yudhishthir, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dvārakā, mentioned only the chieftains amongst them, for it was impossible for him to remember all the names of the Lord's family members. Two constant companion of Lord Krishna, such as Uddhava, are all liberated souls, and they descended along with Lord Krishna to this material world to fulfill the mission of the Lord. The Pandavas are also liberated souls who descended along with the Lord Krishna to serve him in his transcendental pastimes on this earth. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.8, the Lord and his eternal associates, who are also liberated souls like the Lord, come down on this earth at certain intervals. The Lord remembers them all, but his associates, al- although liberated souls, forget due to their being uh, Tatastha Shakti or marginal potency of the Lord. This is the difference between the viṣṇu-tattva and jiva-tattva. The jiva-tattvas are infinitesimal potential particles of the Lord, and therefore they are require the protection of the Lord at all times and to eternal servitors of the Lord. The Lord is pleased to give all protection at all times. The liberated souls never therefore think themselves as free as the Lord or as powerful as the Lord, but they always seek the protection of the Lord in all circumstances, uh, both in the material world and is the spiritual world. This dependence of the liberated soul is constitutional. For the liberated souls are like sparks of fire that are able to exhibit the glow of fire along with the fire and not independently. Independently, the glow of the spark is extinguished, although the quality of fire or the glowing is there. Thus, those who give up the protection of the Lord and become so called lords themselves out of spiritual ignorance come back again to this material world, even after prolonged tapasya of the severest type, that is the Vedic of all Vedic literature. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Am Sri Guroho Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri श्रीरूपं सग्रजातं
सगण
सगणरघुनाथान्वितं
रघुनाथान्वितं
तं
तं
सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्विताञ्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा। Here we try to understand shloka number 30 to 33. In the shlokas, they're describing, asking about the relatives of the Lord Krishna, and then how they asking and which the Arjuna told their answers. All points are discussed here. Prabhuji will tell us in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we are seeing this particular, what I'll say, instructions from the part of the Bhagavatam where Yudhishthira Maharaj is quite concerned and expresses it to Bhim. He's concerned about the well-being of Krishna, about Balram, of the Vishnu dynasty. And so as soon as Arjuna returns, he's asking about the welfare of Krishna's descendants, warriors, friends. So all this inquiry is showing his deep love and respect for all of them. These verses which we are doing today, 32, 33, they're highlighting that great personalities in Krishna's lineage, their divine qualities, and the deep bond which exists between Pandavas and the Yadavas. And that is the reason Yudhishthira Maharaj immediately inquires, how is Pradyumna, who is the great general of the Vishnu family? Is he happy? And is Aniruddha, the plenary expansion of personality of Godhead, faring well? So here he is talking about the glory of Pradyumna and Aniruddha, as we know that they are both expansions of Krishna. And so they are all so viṣṇu-tattva. So regarding Dvārakā Leela, it is mentioned that Krishna, the Lord Vāsudeva, is engaged in his transcendental pastime along with all his plenary expansions, namely Saṅkarṣaṇa, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And therefore, each and every one of them can be addressed as Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. And that is exactly what is mentioned here in this shloka in connection with Aniruddha. Pradyumna has become as the eldest son of Krishna and Rukmini, and is considered an incarnation of Kamadeva, the god of love. He was an unparalleled warrior, Mahāratha. And if when we will be seeing the Krishna's pastimes, we'll see that he has played a significant role there. Aniruddha is the son of Pradyumna. He was powerful, fearless warrior. His nature is compared to the depth of ocean, meaning he was calm but immensely strong. So this shloka where we are learning about Pradyumna and Aniruddha, this explains us how Krishna protected them. And we must also seek Krishna's shelter in our lives to get similar kind of a reciprocation from Krishna in the form of protection. And Yudhishthira does not stop here. He inquires about the chieftain sons of Lord Krishna, such as Susen, Charudeshna, Samba, who is the son of Jambavati, and Rishabha, and all the other sons. And he wants to know whether all of them are doing well. Now, Shambha is a very mighty fighter, and he has played a big role when it comes to the destruction of the complete Yadu dynasty, which was like fulfilling Krishna's divine plan. This verse highlights that Krishna's dynasty was full of great warriors, noble personalities. So, we should also in our family try to cultivate dharma and spiritual values. Krishna married 16,108 wives and each of them had 10 sons. So, directly, Krishna had 1,61,080 sons. And each of the son, they grew up, they married, and they had as many 10 sons like the father. And so they had total 16 lakh 10,800 sons. Of 16 lakh 10,800 sons, their wives, then 1,61,080 sons, their wives, 16,108 wives of Krishna, and Krishna. Such big dynasty. Now, If you try to compare with a common person, that will be futile exercise. Because Krishna is the father of all living beings, and they are countless in number. Only a few of them are called upon by Krishna to associate with him in his transcendental pastimes as Dvārakādhish on this earth. So, what this number that we are talking about is very, very small, minuscule. Even Yudhishthir Maharaj, he could not remember the names of all the family members of Krishna. And that is why, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dvārakā, he mentioned only the chieftains amongst them. And then he further started inquiring about Shrutadev, Uddhav, Nanda, Sunanda. So they are all considered as leaders of liberated souls who are constant companions of Lord. And they're always protected by Lord Krishna and Balram. We wanted to know whether they are all doing well in their respective functions, and do they, who are eternally bound in friendship with Krishna and also the Pandavas, remember about Pandavas' welfare? Are the constant companions of Krishna, especially Uddhava, they are all liberated souls. And they descended along with Krishna to this material world to fulfill the mission of the Lord. Pandavas are also liberated souls who have descended to serve him in transcendental pastimes on earth. So, this is something which is stated by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita itself, that the Lord and his eternal associates, who are also liberated souls like the Lord, come down at certain intervals. परित्राणाय साधुनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium, yuge yuge. The Lord remembers them all, but his associates, although liberated souls, forget due to their being the Tatastha Shakti or the marginal potency of the Lord. So this is the difference between the viṣṇu-tattva and the jiva-tattva. The jiva-tattvas, they are infinitesimal potencies of the Lord. They are Anu, while Krishna is Vibhu. And so they require protection of Krishna at all times. And as far as the eternal servitors of the Lord are concerned, the Lord is more than happy to, more than ready. He is pleased to give all protection at all times. And so the liberated souls, the Mukta Atma, they never therefore think themselves as free as the Lord or as powerful as the Lord. They always seek the protection of the Lord in all circumstances, both in the material world and spiritual world. They are always happy to be dasanudasa. So this dependence of the liberated soul is constitutional. For the liberated souls, they are like the spark of a fire who can exhibit the glow of the fire along with the fire, but never independently. Independently, the spark gets extinguished, so the quality of fire or the glowing is still there. So those who give up the protection of the Lord and become so-called independents themselves out of spiritual ignorance, they have to come back again and again to this material world, even after prolonged tapasya or severest type of penances. And amongst these great associates of Krishna, Uddhava was Krishna's closest advisor, and he received Krishna's final teachings in Uddhava Gita. So he's got a very important role to play. He was the one who was sent as messenger by Krishna to help the gopis overcome their sorrow. And he was the one whom Krishna informed about his impending moving out of the material world and asked him to go on pilgrimage for the remaining period. Similarly, Shrutadev, He was a very humble Brahmana devotee who was blessed by Krishna's personal visit. And that is why Yudhishthir Maharaj is happy to inquire about Shrutadeva as well. So Krishna's associates were not just family members, but they were pure devotees who remained absorbed in Krishna's service. So this verse makes us understand the importance of association with devotees. Because Yudhishthira asks if Krishna's family members are still remembering the Pandavas and their affection bond. So this highlights the importance of devotee association and the mutual love among Vaishnavas. The Pandavas, the Yadvas, they were deeply connected not just as family, but as devotees of Krishna. So you should always maintain spiritual friendships with devotees and inquire about their well-being, just like Yudhishthir does here. So the lessons and applications in our lives are very much from these four shlokas. First, we have to learn to stay in Krishna's shelter because Krishna's protection extends to all his devotees, whether it is Pradyumna, Aniruddha, or Uddhava. Krishna always cares for them. So we should always be under the protection of Krishna. And how do we do it? By chanting Hare Krishna regularly and surrendering to Lord's protection. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this helps us to stay in Krishna's shelter. Secondly, cultivate good family relationships. The Vrishnis, the Yadu dynasties, they were full of brave and righteous personalities. So we should also try to nurture our families with spiritual and moral values, just like Krishna's family upheld Dharma. Third, honor devotee association. Yudhishthir is inquiring not only about Krishna, but also about Uddhav, Shrutadeva, and others. So this shows his deep love for devotees. So what it makes us understand is that we should always respect, serve, and inquire about the well-being of other devotees. And spiritual friendship is eternal. And fourth is we need to recognize the onset of Kali Yuga and the ill effects of Kali Yuga. See, Yudhishthir's concern came because he noticed changes in the world due to Krishna's impending departure. So we must be vigilant about the rise of irreligion in modern times and take refuge in bhakti. So these verses give us a glimpse into the divine family and association of Lord Krishna. King Yudhishthir's inquiry about their well-being reflects his deep love for Krishna's family, the importance of devotee relationships, and how we need to stay in Krishna consciousness. So we need to take inspiration from these verses, and then it will be possible for us to develop strong spiritual relationships, seek Krishna's protection in all aspects of life, and thirdly, stay connected with devotees and Vaishnava culture. So through chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and following Krishna's teachings, we can overcome the effects of Kali Yuga completely and always remain under the divine shelter of Krishna and Balram. And once we are able to take their shelter, then we will no longer will have to remain as Baddha Jeev, but we can also become Mukta Jeev, the liberated souls, and get entry into the eternal pastimes of Krishna. Hare